I came to a point where I said the development of the prices is horrible. The market is going down. It's really hard to make a living out of photography. And I came to the point where I said, I can mourn about that for the next 30 years, or I can change something. So I personally changed into doing my own projects. It's a wave now, you know? The wave is going from everything that was reported in the world was reported by reporters. And now we are changing into everybody who can hold a camera and have an opinion can report and make it public. You used to have a magazine, a publisher. Now you just go online, you just put it on YouTube, wherever. And now a lot of people do that, and so the movement is going very strongly in that direction. But there will be a point where people get aware of the fact that they don't always get the real truth, and you need to know the truth, in fact, to make yourself a picture. And that is very, very, very important. It's, we hear a lot about fake news now. So in the future, you will want to have an institution that says that is a real information. That's not something anybody made up. That's not something anybody put online and then it's the truth. There will be a hunger for reality, and that's when journalism comes back. What really is a shame that we came to a point where people would say, I want to do a story about this and that, and then they order the images, and then you say, okay, how much are you going to pay? And they go like, we don't have a budget for that. And well, I don't have a budget for people who have no budget, because I have my cost, as everybody else does, and I can't give away pictures for free all the time. And that's something, I think it's kind of rude to expect that you could use somebody's work and creativity he created with a lot of high-tech, expensive equipment and say I use it for free, because why? Because that's the rule now? No, I don't accept this rule. There's not many people who do what I'm doing, like cross-country on horseback. And so very often if they look for the connection or the content that I deliver, they want my pictures. Or sometimes they report about my book, of course, that would be one way that people publish my work. And I also work a lot with sponsors, so they would use them for their advertising, for their social media and all that.
But they don't co-own your copyright?
I always negotiate, it depends on the sponsor, it depends on what he brings in and what the deal is. Usually I would say, okay, if we work together, you can use my footage for your social media work. And if you want to do advertising, we talk.
Yeah. And it's for newspapers? What do you do then?
Well, there's a great newspaper in Germany called the Süddeutsche Zeitung, which I would say would be New York Times for Munich, like a comparison. What I really like about it, it's the content you deliver in the Süddeutsche Zeitung. It is, and now we are back to the point, it is real. They're very good journalists. They have a very good reputation for always telling stories from all angles and the truth. And I really like that part of the newspaper. And of course, newspapers don't have a budget such as magazines, and magazines don't have a budget such as big companies. So you always have to be open to who you work with and what they need from you and how you can come together, and then you always find a way. I think in journalism it is very important that you have a writer and a photographer who work together closely, because it's too much work for one guy to do it real, there's a tendency, especially in war zones, that there are newspapers that would send a camera to a guy who's in the critical zone and have him tell his story, which I think would be as an additive, like you put this material in that you couldn't get otherwise, maybe is a interesting approach. But on the same time he might be part of one group who's fighting the other group, so you get one truth but not the truth. You know, and they can tell their story as long as they can hold a camera. They can tell their story the way they want, and that has nothing to do with journalism. It's storytelling. It's you know, like if you want to do serious journalism, you need to tell the whole story and not only one part.
And do you edit all your work yourself, or
to a certain extent? Yes.
With Geographic, is somebody else who will decide?
Yes, you have an editor. Well, you work close with the editorial. You see, there's a big difference between working with National Geographic Germany and National Geographic in the US. So when we do the book, it is my project very much, you know, and the editor is flanking me. He's giving me directions. He's going, you know, we need a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that. And then the pictures come back to me, and I do a look, and then they check the look. Okay, it fits for us. Then I work with it again. So it's a very intense cooperation, and it's like family, you know. It's like Leica. Once you're in that family, you don't really want to leave. Everybody looks after each other. You know what's really interesting, that yes, we do have all the magazines are struggling because they're losing readers, because the reading habits of the young generation is digital. The book publishers don't have this problem, because I think there is a need for reality. If you have a nice book, you feel the paper, you smell the paper, you live it, it's alive, it's not gone. When you buy the new iPhone, the images can be gone, they don't have to, but some people manage to put them from phone to phone, others don't. You know, I still have these old prints of my granddad working on horses. I'm pretty sure that if they would have had computers at the time, we wouldn't be able to read them anymore, and they would be gone. And they're very valuable memories. And photo art is rising, not going down, you know. So there is a need for quality, for reality, but it takes a time for the masses to realize that we are being overwhelmed at the moment by free pictures from everybody. Every single day, 2 billion pictures go online. You know, it's even going into stress illnesses. You know, people are so overwhelmed. When in Germany, if you go to a train station, you have a screen here, you have a screen there, you have everybody looking into his phone, and you have everybody having a laptop. So you get input, and it's hard for the brain to handle that. You know, and what we get as a result is illnesses, stress-related illnesses due to over-information. I would like to encourage young photographers and journalists to you know, whatever comes in from the outside, you believe in yourself and you believe in what you're doing, and you want to tell the real story, and go for it, you know.
Now, how involved must you get in what you are doing? Because sometimes people post things, turn things around. Do you do that?
I don't have the time for that, you know. By the time I post it, or
the
horse is gonna go anywhere, and you know,
Yeah.
very often I just go, and I hope I get it, and if I don't get it, I don't have it. So I don't. Sometimes I ask people, you know, if they did something and I was too slow, if they can redo it. I don't post them, I just ask them to do it again. Or maybe look a little bit more to the left, or a little bit more to the right. I also, you know, when I do a story, I create a look. It's not that I take the raw and print it. I take it into Lightroom and I see all the pictures, I do my selection, and when I have all the pictures, I create a look that I put on the story. It might be a bit brighter than it was, it might be a bit more blue than it was, but I don't change things in terms of I take a horse in and I take the other one out. I crop them, that's it.